How much does a wheelchair van really cost? You've probably found out that budgeting for a new accessible vehicle is a complicated process. There just isn't much unbiased information online to answer that question. The truth is, the price isn't just a number, it's a range that depends entirely on your needs. In this video, we're going to break down the price ranges, explore what drives the costs up, and what can keep them down. This can be a lot, so that's why I've put all of this information into a free buyer's guide. If you want a resource to help you make the best decision, you can download it in the link below. Let's start with the direct answer you came for, the wheelchair van prices. Here are the budget ranges for different types of wheelchair accessible vans. A minivan is generally between $103,000 and $119,000. Our VL series vans are between $110,000 and $135,000. The Ram ProMaster and Ford Transit Classic series are usually between $149,000 and $223,000. And the T-Series vehicles range from $159,000 to $214,000. The P-Series vehicles have the widest range from $145,000 up to $259,000. These are budget ranges for informational purposes and are subject to change. If some of those categories have you confused, make sure to subscribe. We have an upcoming video that breaks down the different types of accessible vehicles. Now, you can see that some of those ranges are massive. The P-Series, for example, has a range of over $100,000. That's not very helpful for budgeting unless you know what decisions put you at the low end and the high end of the vehicle. So what actually makes up the price of a wheelchair accessible van? It breaks down into two main components, the vehicle chassis and the accessible conversion. The vehicle chassis is the van body itself, and the cost is not something that manufacturers have much control over. You'll find that the price of the chassis is not much different than what you'd pay at a Ram or a Ford dealership. The part that really changes the price is the conversion. This is where all of the customization happens. The components that drive the cost up are things like the type of conversion you get, the wheelchair access equipment, meaning the lift or the ramp, whether you get a flexible floor system for moving seats and wheelchair configurations around, the type of removable seating and wheelchair restraints, vehicle decals or a full exterior wrap to represent your organization or community, and any special equipment such as interior lighting, heat and air conditioning, or medical supplies. The choice between a lift or a ramp is a big decision on its own. If you want a deeper breakdown of this, I've included a link below that explains this in further detail. If your organization is navigating rougher terrain, you may want to consider a Trail Edition upgrade, which includes items such as 10-ply tires, lift kit for higher ground clearance, or even a front wheel guard. This option can add on between $35,000 to $40,000 to your quote, but can save you from future damage and downtime to your vehicle. Now, why do accessible vehicle price ranges vary between companies so much? When you're asked to get multiple quotes, you will see a lot of variation. It's important to understand that not all companies build vehicles the same way, and that is reflected in the price. A lower price can often mean compromises in a few key areas. The first thing is safety. In Canada, there are many safety standards that vehicle modifiers must comply with to ensure that the passengers are safe. Make sure you are working with a company that follows them. The second thing is quality. There's a saying that you get what you pay for, and this is very relevant here. Modifying a vehicle for wheelchair accessibility isn't work that just anyone can do. It requires specially trained technicians to get a high quality of workmanship. Third, and this is a big one, after-sales service. Does the company have a dedicated customer service team to help you after you buy? We have seen too many van owners that are left with no support when their vehicle has problems, and that vehicle downtime is a huge problem. Finally, there's innovation. Some companies like Movability have dedicated engineering teams. They develop new and better mobility options, not just one-size-fits-all solutions. Another element to consider is whether there's any hidden fees in your quote. At Movability, we will always list all of our fees such as delivery charge or administration fees to your first quote. This avoids any surprises later on. When comparing accessible vehicle quotes, make sure to ask if there are any additional or hidden fees that may be coming later. So, are there other ways to keep the cost on the lower end of the scale? The answer is yes, but they often involve a trade-off in functionality. A common example is choosing a manual wheelchair ramp instead of a powered one. This can save you a few $1,000s. This might be a good choice for some communities, especially in colder climates where electrical components can fail. However, if you are in an urban center where passengers need to board as efficiently as possible, a powered ramp is often the better choice. This is where you have to discuss if your priority is a lower price or the best value for your program. As you can see, there is no single price for a wheelchair van. The final cost depends on the chassis you choose, the conversion options you pick, and the level of quality and service you get from the manufacturer. The best way to get an accurate number for your budget is by talking to a mobility expert about your specific needs. Click the link below for a free consultation with a mobility expert today. And if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments. We're always here to help.